may actually not be my number one choice. I love living in the city because of all the things that it has to offer in terms of culture and diversity and having everything that you need within walking distance. And I really love that about the city. However, I do draw most of my inspiration from nature. So I take frequent trips to places where I can be surrounded by nature, whether that's just for a weekend or even going to the park for a day. Um, I I go on a lot of canoe trips, and that is one of my all-time favorite things to do is go on backcountry camping, canoeing trips. And there, when you're really surrounded by nature, that's where I draw a lot of my inspiration from. And um, living in the city is nice. And okay, wait, what was the question? I don't know if I'm actually answering it anymore.
You kind of did, but
Yeah.
the question was, how do you make living in a city work for your creative process as somebody inspired by nature?
Okay.
So
Okay, so basically just living in the city but taking frequent trips. That was
yeah,
kind of like that's how I make it work.
yeah.
Okay.
But I'm still gonna keep rolling because
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of a part two to this, which is, um, how do certain spaces such as Youthful Vengeance make the city life work better for you as an artist?
Okay. Should I mention youthful vengeance? Just a little plug. Yeah, so spaces in the city like Youthful Vengeance are really great for me because as an artist, my work is very solitary and I don't have a shared studio space. I work from home, and so I'm quite lonesome during the week when I'm working. And so it's really nice to have spaces that I can go and I can work. That's not always possible if I'm painting, obviously, but I do a lot of work on my computer, and so it's really nice, especially being right down the street from Youthful Vengeance. I can just go in and be surrounded by people and kind of have this atmosphere where I can, yeah, have conversations and not feel so lonely all day.
Are there any memories from the cottage exploring nature that you cherish or that stick out to you strongest?
So I have a lot of cherished memories from my time at the cottage, and as a child, I would have to say that my most cherished memories have been looking for mushrooms in the forest, as well as just being knee deep in swamp water looking for frogs. I that was like my probably my most favorite thing to do as a kid was just frog catching and looking for turtles and any kind of critters that I could find. And nowadays in my adulthood, I use the cottage as a place that I can really connect with nature. And so every time I'm there, I make sure that I'm either going out on the kayak and paddling around or going on walks in the forest. And I'm always have my eye out for critters, even nowadays. Um, but yeah, and now these days I do a lot of foraging, so that's a really wonderful way for me to connect with nature and something that we often do at the cottage as soon as foraging season starts, which is basically from spring to fall. So that is one of my favorite things to do.
Nice. And are there, um, besides the cottage, just being in sort of other parts of nature, maybe up north, are there any specific memories that stick out to you?
Well, I have a lot of memories from my Algonquin trips. Algonquin is holds a very special. Oh, I shouldn't touch my name. Algonquin holds a very special place in my heart. I've done like countless backcountry canoeing trips, and I've drawn a lot of inspiration from those. I've painted many canoes in my day. Not physically, like painting of a canoe in my day. And yeah, I guess one memory that really sticks out is seeing the northern lights for the first time on a camping trip. That was really, really cool. And also seeing moose, because what a treat.
So, besides mushrooms, or besides the mushroom, are there any other elements of the natural world that inspire you or that stick out to you in particular?
I think most generally it's just natural light, if that makes sense. I think that anytime I can play with natural light in any setting, um, whether that's in the landscape or maybe more like a close up of a flower or anything like that, I think that that is a very big focus for me, and that's what really excites me when I go to paint something, is how natural light is interacting with the subject. Um, Other than that, I think in terms of things in the natural world that inspire me, I really love animals and wildlife. I don't actually do a lot of painting of them because, yeah, I just haven't taken that turn with my work, but maybe I will. Maybe I will, because I really love animals. Does that answer the question?
It does, yeah. And
Okay.
I love the like part at the end that you said there.
Okay.
I did want to ask a follow up, which was, is there a certain sort of, how do I describe it? A certain type of natural light, or I guess like weather condition, that you love the most, or that you like to paint the most?
So, with the natural light, I really love painting in kind of sunset hours. I have a lot of paintings where I've painted as the sun is coming down. I think it really creates a lot of nice long shadows, which I really love, especially in forest scenes when you can get really long shadows of the trees, and usually that happens when the sun is going down, and you also can get some really interesting, more sunset colors, like warmer kind of colors, which I'm really attracted to. So usually that time of day is a great day to go out shooting. So I reference my own photography when I'm painting, and that's a big part of my practice for the past 7 years, is going out and shooting things that, capture my attention in nature, and then bringing that back into the studio to then recreate in some way. I have eaten lots of the mushrooms that I have foraged in the past. Mushroom foraging is a skill, and it can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. And I would still say that I'm a beginner, but there are some very easily identifiable edible mushrooms here in Ontario, and I've gotten quite good at identifying the tasty ones. So I have found lots of really nice. No, I don't want to say that. Um, Also, I'm very lucky that my sister-in-law is an amazing chef, and so we often go out foraging together, and what we find we'll bring back, and we've made some really amazing meals. We found chicken of the woods last year, and she actually made chicken fingers from the chicken of the woods with like a garlic aioli, and it was amazing. And some really wonderful linguine pasta dishes with the creamy mushrooms and all this stuff. So it's a treat. It's very rewarding finding something out in nature and then thoroughly enjoying the process of eating it.